night. There were fumes coming off him. There was a cloud around him. People actually emptied out of the restaurant. So whoever goes near him today is a very brave man indeed.
Okay, so our thoughts are with all the defenders anywhere near Scott Gumbleton and the midfielders with Jobe Watson this afternoon.
Looked like Stephen Gillam had the sweats already. I reckon Tim might be onto something there. Have a look at him.
He's let him go already. So the start of round 6, the Bombers without a loss, the Giants without a win, and Bell Chambers does the ruck work. Again for the Bombers, been so impressive so far this year. Dylan Shield, the first man to get clean possession for the Giants, over the top to Moore and now to Green, who had an amazing year in 2011. Gets through a bit of traffic, neat ball into the middle, and the Giants already looking composed to Jacob Townsend, a long ball out the back. Bagley, he'll be there for the Bombers. He's got a free man over the top, or was Hibbert. He ignored him, and then he pulls the kick to Myers. It's all neat and tidy already in the back 6 for the Bombers.
So Myers in the back pocket, then a short one. Stanton got a lot of the football last time these two teams played. 27 possessions.
Free kick.
And one vote, a free kick. Pretty obvious one there, Tom.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Baz. It was in the back. It's going to be a really big job for Giles. I think Bell Chambers is starting to really elevate himself as one of the premier ruckmen in the competition.
So Myers with the footy, kicks towards midfield. Here's Dempsey. Runner on already, and they're away here with Pears. Back in the team. He cuts back inboard and just holds up with the kick. He goes towards Goddard. Had it on his chest. Davey. He's kept it in. Done well there. Back towards the top of the square. Cramery, and well fisted over. That was good work by Gillam, the experienced defender. Through for a rushed behind Essendon with the opening score on a Saturday afternoon.
So Stephen Gillam, the most experienced Giant out there. You talk about the inexperience of these Giants. 21 of the 22 Giants have played less games than Dustin Fletcher has missed since he debuted in 1993. So Dustin Fletcher misses game 101 this afternoon. Stephen Gillam plays 104. The rest less.
And just to match up, Townsend's actually going with Watson, so big job for him today. He's going to learn a lot.
He will. The youngster against the reigning Brownlow medalist, Hardingham, goes to half forward. The man that's got garlic issues, as Tim said, is the chosen one, Gumbleton. Out the back, Cramery keeps it in, did well to Merritt. Handball's back inside. Now a chance, space only. Core, the youngster on debut, goes hard at the football. A Northern Irishman now playing for the Giants.
Huge raps on Aidan Core. He is going to be a pillar of the defence for a long time. Lightning quick over the 20. Runs it in 2.8 seconds. One of the quickest on the Giants list.
So he plays with Sam Frost this afternoon. His brother Aaron plays with Jack Frost in the Collingwood VFL side when Jack isn't playing in the seniors. A nice lunge in the end from Adam Tomlinson. He goes to half forward. Jeremy Cameron, as he so often is, the target for the Giants. Terrific hands.
That's a great mark, and we've all marvelled at the way Jeremy Cameron started his AFL career. This is a big job for Tate Pears, isn't it? He's in and out of the side. He's up against a young player who's going to be physically stronger than, but he has to get a result, Nick.
And particularly with Fletcher and Carlo out, this is a real opportunity for him. He really got those guys out. He's got the big job, as you say, on Cameron, and he's really got to get the job done today if he wants to hold that spot.
So the leading goal scorer last year for the Giants didn't start playing football seriously until he was 14 years of age. He is a gun of the future of the competition. He gets the first on a Saturday afternoon for the Giants.
It's a typical build-up for the Giants. They do push numbers back as really aggressively to try and clog up the opposition forward line, in this case Essendon, and then try to get the ball on the turnover on that occasion. Cameron had the whole 50. It tends to be a lot of the power forwards working back towards goal these days.
And have they got a lot of speed, Tom? You know them pretty well. They're small forwards.
Yeah, they do. They do. They, I mean, a really athletic young group, and they use the ball exceptionally well. So that's the way they're going to attack for sure. Tomlinson on that occasion driving in, and he's another key forward, one of the talented Vic Metro kids from a couple of years ago, so looking to build some chemistry with his other tall timber target and Jeremy Cameron.
Of course, it's umpire appreciation round, and the umpires this afternoon, McBurney, Bannister and Burgess, and they get it going again inside the set of circles. Howlett with a quick kick out of the congestion midfield. He was looking for Davey. It might still work out Davey's way here. Now Comma with a chance. Well done at the back by Reid. Ball up in the air. Watson back to Davey. And now carried forward. No free for Essendon. They've worked it out all right to Treloar. Quick kick away. GWS still trying to find the footy on the ground, and Howlett in the end.
Take boys, clear out. Play on.
Merritt it was. He goes short, and the ball now through the agency of Hooker down towards 50, and Moore just drifting across. That was pretty easily done. So GWS, they've done okay, controlled the football when required. Gillum, he goes short to the pocket, and Scully's got it.
Max, fine there, you got it, Tom.
Scully and Stanton running with each other, both the really prolific ball carriers for their respective clubs.
Well, Adams did a good job, hard up against the boundary on the outer side. Now, Reid was the target. Was he infringed? He was. So Reid...
Right, straight back to him. Straight back to him now, thank you.
Seems to have hurt the heavily strapped shoulder in the fall.
Move it on now. Play on.
He and Tim Moore got a sort of familiar and similar look about them. To half forward, well done. Drifting in was Hibbert. Couldn't quite take it. Spilled to Palmer. Over the top to Tomlinson. Got wrapped up by Stanton. Ball spills. Chance for Bagley. Sure hands. This time to Hooker. Missed Hardingham. Cornelio puts the pressure on. And then just a little flick from Hooker. He got it wide. Couldn't quite get it clear. Now a chance for the Giants. What can Adams do? Along the ground. Bouncing ball. Little bit of genius from the youngster. The first two of the Saturday afternoon go the way of the Giants.
One thing that GWS forwards are going to need to do is really separate as forwards, because the Essendon defenders work so well together, and we saw there Hibbert got across really well. Unfortunately dropped the mark, but you can see what they want to do, get across and help each other out.
Positive start from the Giants. They have started a number of their games really well out of the blocks. They're a young, energetic side, and you can just imagine the pre-game speech that Sheeds would have been involved in ramping up the boys against the Bombers, and certainly responding at this early stage of the game. Important touch there for Tom Scully. There's a big report in one of the Melbourne newspapers about his value to the Giants at the moment. He's got a job on Stanton. I don't think it'll be a lockdown job, but positive start from Tom.
Gee, good start this by GWS, and Shield now to Ward. Here they come again, inside 50. Cameron the target. It was knocked away. Bagley with some work to do. At the back, he was hesitant there. Cornelio sweat him on him. Might have been a free kick there. Perhaps unlucky not to get it. Hibbert now. Close to the line. Treloar's kept it in. Ball fired forward, back towards Cornelio. He got out of the tackle there. There were three of him doing the tackling. Now standing up in the tackle is Pears. He released it just in time. Dempsey, and then Hooker boots it forward towards the wing. Out wide, Brewster's there, and over the line it goes.
Giving them a taste of their own medicine, GWS. The Bombers have been so good defensively up in their forward line. That's what GWS are doing really well at the moment.
Those two side by side know each other so well. Such a big part of the rich history of the Essendon Football Club. Great start, though, this by GWS, isn't it? They're really in this game, and obviously the first couple, that's really encouraging. And the last couple of weeks, over 100 points, which they only achieved once last year. Here's Goddard, though, with other ideas. A long kick. Peeling off and taking the mark is Gillum.
So Gillum, the kick is good to Palmer. So the former Hawk to the former Docker, and now Moore just streams through from halfback. Again, Cameron will lurk. He gets hands onto it, front spot. He's got wonderful hands, Tommy. Every time he gets near it, you think he's more than likely going to clunk it.
Well, we saw one of the best play last night on Friday Night Footy, and Nick Revolt just takes the ball at the highest point. Jeremy Cameron, the same ilk. That's twice now he's got Tate Pears coming back with the flight of the ball. Good work off the ball by Frost, and
15 seconds, Jeremy.
Sheeds seen a lot of footy, and he's a big rap for this young fella, Jeremy Cameron.
It's great, isn't it? The clap in the coach's box. Love to see that.
Can they get the first three of Saturday afternoon football? The kick, it's perfect. They do. The Giants, what a start. So the Bombers came in unbackable. Everyone thought by how far, and the Giants have got just a serious start. 3 straight 18, 2 of them to Jeremy Cameron. A trickling goal from Adams, and they've looked the most likely. And what you've never been able to question, Tom, is the aggression of the youngsters.
Yeah, they've been skilled up the right way. Sheeds being the back pocket plumber that he often talks about, just wants some real mongrel in his boys, and he's got that. And they've started exceptionally well. Just a really good, long, deep kick, and it puts any defender, doesn't matter how good you are under pressure, when it's 2-on-2, it is on that occasion. We know the rare talents that Cameron possesses, and finished with the goal.
Great mark, though, too. One arm almost being held, so really good work. Now, that might have been a free kick to Giles inside the set of circles. Goddard gets the footy, moving forward, but the wrong way. Lucky there, Devon Smith just slipped over at the wrong time, and now it's worked out Essendon's way. Zaharakis out the back he goes with a long bouncing ball for Kramer. He gathers on the bounce, onto the left. He swings it around the body. Chance in the square for Gumbleton. Well done by the defender. He got his arm there. He paddled it over. Josh Bruce, nice work.
The Giants quickly away to Green, who just gets so much of the football. Baby face, plays like a veteran. Short to Palmer. To the outer side, Tomlinson wasn't delivered in an extraordinary fashion, so had to gather. Short to Shield, and then back to Moore. Got a man with a heap of time, and that is Bruce, and it took a while. So Crameri has an opportunity to float in. The kick was okay in the end. The handball wasn't from Bruce. He'll gather again and then over the top. So it's intercepted, and in the end, pretty ordinary passage. They had a heap of time and just got themselves caught in the end. So a 16-point lead enjoyed right now by the Giants. The first 3 of the afternoon, 2 of them to Jeremy Cameron. Ruck work this time being done by Giles, who after his first year got a 3-year extension.
Zaharakis getting the free kick from the low tackle from Toby Green. That's a job for Toby Green. You can sense that the Giants have gone in with a really strong defensive mindset, some hard tags on some of the gun Essendon midfielders.
Well, mark or free kick, take your pick. So Comma back from suspension after the Kepler-Bradley incident on Friday Night Football. Short to Merritt. So what a pick-up Comma has been from fairly low down in the draft, you would have to say. Went number 72 last year. And Jackson Merritt, who debuted against the Pies in the last round of last year, has an opportunity to add to his tally this year. 5th game, 5 goals to date. This one is offline. Always started right.
And Hammer, one of the things you want to do when you go on the road is keep the crowd quiet, and that's exactly what the Giants have done in the early part of this game. Big crowd now starting to build here at Etihad Stadium, but they're really subdued. Not enough for them to panic about just yet from the Bombers.
Good on you, Tim. GWS by 15 points then early going. Moore kicked to himself and then probably had a little bit too much on it. Chopped off by Hill, who goes inboard, and Stanton starting to find a fair bit of the footy. Another chip kick is on, and that's a pretty easy mark taken by Hardingham. Too much space then, and he found it.
And it is that concentration thing that I know the Giants have been really keen to focus on. They can play patches of footy. They've been really good and really committed so far, but just need to maintain their concentration. Shouldn't be able to find a free man like that.
Hardingham, just his 2nd match for season 2013. Hasn't kicked a goal yet for the year. He has now. Essendon have got their first of the afternoon. Well, maybe a sign of the growing confidence of GWS. Moore kicked to himself, then kicked long. The kick had just a bit too much on it, and in the end caught his own teammates out, and then as a result of the turnover, just a lot of space on the Essendon forward line.
Well, they've been good. They've got their hands on the footy so far, GWS, but the times they've got themselves in strife, they've tried to overdo it, particularly in the back half. Need to tidy that up. Enjoyed that first goal for the year for Kyle Hardingham. Pretty important player for them, really, when they're up and about. Plays that role across half-back exceptionally well.
So David Hill getting an opportunity in the absence of Paddy Ryder. Free kick, though, going the way of the Giants.
Back behind the mark, thank you. Yep, he's with his man, that's fine.
So
stay round, play on.
Townsend to Hampton, then wide to Bug. Bug just steps around Comma. Wide ball to Reid. And now the penetrating kick. Who's there? Cameron got caught out, pushed out perhaps.
Push him under the footy. Okay. Push him under the footy. Jeremy Cameron.
Tough start for Pears.
Yeah, well, Goddard actually threw himself behind the ball there, so the extra number down there, and I guess expecting someone to come across. He swapped over with Hibbard at that stage, and yeah, Cameron's looking very good.
Well, 2 kicks, 2 goals so far. He doesn't often miss, and that's just another beautiful strike. 3 for the afternoon for Cameron, 4 for the Giants. The lead is 15. He's on record to kick about, or on track to kick a club record this afternoon. 3 in, what's it been, 14 minutes of football. Sheeds is delighted. In season 29, James Hird in season 3. Extraordinarily, Sheeds has coached more games than his side has played as a collective, by 70 odd. So it is the youngest side the Giants have ever put out on a football ground.
Here's a free kick here. Tate Pears giving it away. But tough start for Tate Pears, Nick. 3 goals against.
I think he was a bit stiff on that one there. I think the first 2, though, he probably just has to be behind Cameron so he can stop him running back with the fly, because that's where he got both those first 2 goals.
Great start, though, isn't it, by Cameron and GWS. He kicked 3 goals last week. He's already got 3 goals inside the first 15 minutes of the opening term. So Essendon, it's down to them for a reply. Zaharakis, he sends it long inside 50, trying to get to that footy Crammery. It just had a little bit too much on it. And so far, Nick, that's pretty much been the story of the afternoon. They've just taken a little while to settle here, the Bombers.
Just going forward, I think, and not quite as sharp as they have been over the last 5 weeks.
Giles clean possession. Don't often see the ruckman doing that now because of the penalty associated if they get caught holding the ball. Shield to Townsend, clearing kick again. Nowhere really to go, and Goddard just getting behind the footy, chopping it off. 24 plays 9, man lurking in the pocket, and the mark has been taken by Ben Howland.
Jobe Watson going forward. He's taken Townsend to the square. He's only had the 1 touch so far, Jobe. Trying to expose his direct opponent deep.
He's a long kick, Howlett, but he goes towards the top of the square. Well done by Moore. He read that well, stood tall in the pack and marked for GWS.
Just further to the Townsend-Watson matchup at the moment. Townsend leading possession getter on the ground with 6. Jobe just with the 1.
Just further to the Jeremy Cameron record. 3 goals to date. He's got to kick 5 or more to equal the club record with himself, Satanta and Will Hoskin-Elliott. As the Bombers go forward again, Moore's going to get there first, but he doesn't need to. So 5 is the club record in a game. Jeremy Cameron, Satanta and Will Hoskin-Elliott.
And Charlie Dixon got the Suns record just a week or so ago. He kicked 6. All those little battles between the 2 expansion clubs.
So ball in the Giles direction. Bell Chambers got hands onto it, couldn't take it as cleanly as he would have liked, and suddenly the Giants are a chance. This time the arching of the back of Devon Smith, but he ran too far.
There's a great chase there. He just knew that... didn't appreciate the umpire on that occasion. I think... Is it umpire Bannister?
It's Jordan Bannister. And I must say, his brother Rick, who came off a horse and has broken his neck, is watching in hospital on the iPad. So our thoughts are with Rick and his wife Emily. Had a tough week, and Jordan Bannister, I ran into last night, is saying he'll be watching. So
he wrote a fantastic article on the back page, Lee, Jordan Bannister, and our thoughts with the family for sure.
Pears to Myers.
Play on, play on.
Short ball to Stanton, and then again looking for tall timber in the forward line. Bell Chambers couldn't quite. What can Howlett do at the full? The ball gets beaten to it. The Giants get numbers on it. Canelio now to Scully. Hampton left it behind. Comer, he'll swoop on the football. Dishes it back to Goddard, to Howlett. Now to Myers onto the left. And a chance maybe for Hill. He's got a couple of white jumpers to beat. Gillum did a good job. Davey sharks it. Boundary line beats them.
GWS 24, Essendon 9. It's been a super start by the visitors against all expectations. Townsend down low and down deep in defence. Treloar with a free kick, bottom of that pack. They're going really hard at it, aren't they, Tom? Hampton now running. It's a dangerous kick. Canelio needs to be good here. He got out of the Stanton tackle. Wasn't so sure about Davey behind him. If he can get the ball out of bounds here, it'll be a win for GWS. It comes to Crammery and back to Moore, and in the end, not a bad result.
And just taking the sting out of the game there, Tim Moore. They've got a lot of numbers back in their defensive half, the Giants. They just need to use the ball a bit better when they're coming out.
Moore started really well. 8 disposals already. Short to Hampton. Now back deep in defence. Well done by Comery. Applied a lot of pressure to Bug. Ball out towards Jetta. Was that a push in the back against Reed? Umpire says keep going. Frost in there, bottom of the pack. Well done in the end by Gillum. He got it toward a high ball towards the wing.
Giles goes back with a flight. Hill was there with him. Might fall for Shield. No, well done. Hardingham read it, gave it off, and Hill just along the ground before Dempsey picks up cleanly and delivers perfectly. This time to Howlett. Long ball, top of the square. It's the skipper. He's got good hands, and it's in good hands.
That's a great thing about Joe Watson at the moment. He's really brought to his game the last 2 years to actually go forward and take those contested marks. Obviously hit the scoreboard. That's hard to stop for any defender, let alone someone who's tagging as a midfielder.
So Joe Watson just been in extraordinary form over the last 18 months or so. Would have enjoyed walking in and sitting down with Simon Goodwin to watch his tapes following the Anzac Day game. Just taken a box of popcorn in and enjoyed the hour or so. Watson fires and just offline to the near side. So behind only. But to Tim's point, last Thursday, the crowd, 93,000, were noisy from the get-go. The Giants have been able to stop the Bombers fans for getting too rowdy.
And this is the part of the game, part of the quarter where the Giants coaching staff will really scrutinise the game. It's 6 minutes to go on the first term. They've started well, just need to hang on for the rest of the quarter.
More to bug, and then a long kick down the wing, but Giles got a pretty good view of it there. Just had an arm wrapped around Hill. So it's Essendon's free kick. Well, uncharacteristic. Into the man on the mark. Well done, Giles. Forced the ball towards the line. Another mini win for GWS. There's the last 10 inside 50. So you can see the game has levelled up in that score. GWS 4 scoring shots. Essendon 5. Thrown in on the wing. Melksham waiting down. Treloar was the third man up. Howlett dives on top of the footy. Treloar in there with him. They wrestle. Another bounce.
Maxie, they've only won a handful of quarters.
A free kick off the ball here, Haim.
Oh, they're going forward again.
Palmer's way.
Devon Smith was a target wide. Adams wider. Bagley got hands onto it again. Couldn't take it clean. It won't please the coaching staff. And now a disputed ball. And another chance for Adams. Couldn't quite connect as he would have liked. And the Bombers get out of jail again. And this ferocious Giants outfit almost win possession again. In fact, they do. Adams taken high. No. Goddard desperate at the football. Myers is there too. And Ward, the best and fairest. And the lone skipper for the first time in the absence of Davis, just keeps the ball inside the attacking 50.
Great defensive play by the Giants in there. And you just see it's effort after effort after effort. It's pretty hard to clear the ball when you're under that much pressure.
They've only won 5 quarters for the year, 13 last year. What an effort it would be if they could win the first quarter this afternoon. Ward on the left, just offline, one behind. Scoreboard ticks over, 15-point lead.
I was going to ask you, Nick, whether you credited this good start to the way GWS were playing, or was it Essendon just being off the pace? But I think that last minute or so told us the story, didn't it?
Oh, they're having a real crack, GWS, but also Essendon aren't using the ball that well going forward. We saw they had 9 of the last 10 inside 50s before this final one, and they only scored 1 point out of that. So obviously Jimmy Hurd will be disappointed with that.
We know this man uses the ball very well, perhaps as good as anybody in the competition, but not so well that time. Chopped off by Callum Ward. The ball's coming back. Bugs kick for Devon Smith, and he marks on the lead. It was Cornelio with the kick.
That was your best, Baz, I reckon. That was the biggest moles you've probably put on someone there with
You're a powerful man.
BJ.
That was good, wasn't it?
He's a beautiful kick of the football, but
of all people to let you down, Goddard.
But the structures, to Nick's point, the Giants are setting up really well. They've been obviously well drilled about how to play against the Bombers and starting well.
Devon Smith, 3 goals last week against the Gold Coast. She just offline. That would have been a really big break for GWS. 4-2, 1-4.
I've never seen Brendan Goddard turn it over like that.
Play on.
You've got some influence, Basil. Pears at half-back to the wing. Hill stands underneath it. Support from Moore at the back. And again, the Bombers trying to go forward. Moore stands in the way.
That's twice he's done that too, Moore. So he actually came off his opponent, Comma. So at times people can think there's an extra man behind the play, but he actually came off his man and influenced that contest. So very well done.
We speak about the Giants and how young they are and inexperienced. The average games played by the team out there today, just 27. The most inexperienced side they've put on a football field to date, the Bombers. More experience with 76. And you speak about the baby Bombers in 93. They only had 63 games in around 6 encounters. So it just highlights how young this side is. Adams almost gets around Goddard.
And just like we saw with Moore, great decision by Goddard to actually leave his man and come up and put that tackle on.
Last time the Dons played an expansion side at Docklands, it was 15 goals to zip at quarter time. That was round 6, 2011 against the Suns. Different story this afternoon against the Giants. So impressive. Myers to Bagley, high up and under. Ward, Stanton and Melksham, front spot, maybe more.
He's chock full of confidence at the moment, Tim Moore, just really setting up offensive drives for the Giants.
Well, Cameron out the back. Could he add to the tally? A couple of bombers this time. Giles at the fall of the ball. So too Tomlinson. Well done. Hardingham through the middle. Lots of white jumpers. Now at the back, maybe Hampton or Moore can flick it left or right. Whichever he chooses. Loses possession. Merritt did really well. Moved Moore out of the way, and suddenly it's up to Shield to come and win the football. Moore took a bit of time. Couldn't quite get it away as he would have liked. Crameri, what a good job. No one forward of the ball except wide. A couple of runners into space. Comma couldn't quite get there. Now a chance for Merritt. Unselfish. He looked over the top. It might work out okay.
Toby here.
So Gumbleton, run around on the left or check side, take your pick. No one really free inside forward 50. What a story he's been. Chronic back, ribs, lung issues throughout. Hopefully he's ready to explode. He's been so good in the last few weeks. This time, the right goalpost. 15-point lead to the Giants as we close in on quarter time.
So can they get the lead at quarter time for the second time this season? Round 2 against Port Adelaide. The Giants led it at quarter time, looking for their second quarter time lead of the season. Hampton short to Bug.
Half a metre.
There's not much space out there.
Right there, thanks.
All players in the front half of the ground. There's still 2 minutes to go. So a turnover on the offering here for the Bombers.
So a long kick down the line, which was the smart play given the circumstances, and Giles got there to make it a couple in the contest. The mark's going to be paid to Cameron, isn't it, or a free kick?
That's a mark.
Yeah, paid the mark in front. Hasn't Cameron started well? 3 goals, 4 disposals. Make it 5 now. On to Townsend. Palmer wanting to get by. In the end, the Shepherd instead. That was pretty good football. Ball towards the 50. Reid there trying to get a hand on it. They're a bit nervous here, Essendon. Hibberd taken to ground. Brilliant tackle, Reid. It comes across to Scully. The handball from Shield. He's kicked another one. 5 for GWS in the opening term. Well, this is better than a good start. This is a really good start now, Nick Maxwell.
Oh, it's excellent. I don't think anyone came here thinking that this was going to be the quarter-time score, so it's just the GWS pressure's been excellent. And look, if they can stick with it and keep pushing, I think the next couple of minutes are pretty important, because that's when a young side can really get tired.
Can't help but think, too, there's something a little special about this effort for their retiring coach against his old team.
Just outstanding pressure here. We just see it come in here. Scully's involved. A great tackle there from Reid on Hibberd. Perfect technique. Scully butters up, goes on the left and kicks a goal. Just the numbers around the contest and the intensity has been really impressive.
Well, if you're standing around and somebody asked you what's the score and you said 21-point lead at quarter time, you'd think, oh, that's about right. But you wouldn't have thought it was the Giants. So the Bombers need to respond. Zaharakis to Dempsey. What a smooth moving footballer he is. Onto the left boot. Ugly sort of a ball to defend and to grab hold of as a forward. Tomlinson. Oh, good pick up in the end by Townsend, and over the top to Scully, who kicked the last, and he streams away from the Essendon goal onto the left. Ugly sort of a ball. Might work out. No.
Push out, free kick, hand in the back.
Well, you heard the umpire, so
Put the hand there.
plenty of time for another from a Giants perspective.
Geez, Townsend's been a good player this first quarter so far, up to 8 disposals, with the primary role of stopping the Brownlow medalist.
And a latecomer to AFL, Tommy.
Yes, from the Leeton Crows in southern New South Wales, from the New South Wales ACT Rams. He's hard as a cat's head. Great player.
You mean cat's head as in Geelong cat, or just the...
It's just a colloquial saying, isn't it?
Just the everyday sort of cat, Tom.
Yeah, just the...
Hang on, let me feel yours. Not that hard, so I get it.
Well, second
Plays footy the
biggest
right way is what I'm saying, Bez.
opening term by the Giants. 34 points they scored against the Power last year. 32 at the moment against the top of the table, Essendon Bombers. Who would have thought it? Moore, comma to beat, and does beat him. Doesn't get the kick away as he would have liked, and now it's just a savage attack on the football by Moore, and 3 Bombers on Moore.
Interesting to see how the Bombs are setting up forward of the play here. There's a lot of open space, I guess, on the fat side of the ground, so it looks to them if they win it, actually goes through the corridor.
So quickly forward again, the Giants. Maybe time if there's a free kick. Reid couldn't quite take it cleanly. Trelaw pretty desperate to siren those sounds. So what an extraordinary opening term. James Hird first out onto the ground. He'll have plenty to say. Kevin Sheedy, he'll be delighted. 5-2-32. And that is the Giants. The Bombers won.
precise points. I think the thing that would really disappoint him was whenever we were a side under his tutelage playing against a younger side, you wanted to punish them, you wanted to be ruthless. Tim Watson mentioned that before the game, and the Bombers just haven't done that so far.
Okay, so the second stanza about to get underway. The first one by the Giants to the tune of 21 points against the side that sits on top of the table. The Giants, of course, the youngest and least experienced side they've ever fielded. They've started beautifully. Goddard puts it into a bit of space, allows Hardingham, the lone goal scorer for the Bombers, to run onto it. Tomlinson chases hard. Now Merritt, he's got some space with the ball, get over the top. Might just bounce well for him. He was corralled by Bug. He missed his foot. So Merritt, the youngster who's put on some kilos in the last 12 months, he said he needs to continue to throw steel around the strong room to get to a point where he's happy to get physical at this level, but a youngster on the march, that's for sure. So Giles and Hill. Giles knocks it down. Watson Sharks. Taken this time by Reid. Quick little kick into the middle. Front spot was Adams. Couldn't take it cleanly. Palmer just gets hold of Hill. Adams joins in. Tomlinson too.
One thing you wouldn't have seen on your screen there, Zaharakis actually spat forward hard from that contest, and we spoke about Green earlier, Tom, really having to learn that defensive role. He picked it up quickly and worked back hard, which was really good.
Hill, a knockdown to space, and Palmer ran into that space in the end. Again, not a quick clear. Ward, desperate as he has always been throughout his career, gets taken high, gets a free kick, and suddenly the Giants go forward again.
So cruising past, Ward got the handball out. Treloar, now Cornelio, he had it, just lost it at the last moment, but it comes out Adams' way. Back to Palmer, running forward of the footy for 6 goals now for GWS. It just drifts across the face behind.
It's been good today, Reece Palmer. He's driven really strongly at the ball, setting the standard for his younger teammates.
Pears short to Dempsey, trying to get something going on the outer side, and back to Pears, who kept running. Hibbard, little handball over the top. Cornelio trying to herd him up. He's done pretty well there. And Hibbard, as a result, needs to go with a long ball towards half forward. Gumbleton.
Jonathan Giles, push out.
Gumbleton with a big fly, but as you heard, Tristan Burgess, the man on the spot, but the call came from outside. It's Giles' free kick. Here they come again.
Well, a big charge from Cameron. Couldn't take it. Tomlinson beaten the play. Hardingham good. Sweeping ball inside. Zaharakis over the top to Melksham, who was held up by Green. Green did a good job in the end, and Zaharakis ends up on the chain of handballs. Beautiful ball. Bagley just looks at options. Comer, he's got a heap of space. He's ignored for a long time. Now chosen. He's run the best part of 60 metres. Comer was on a lot earlier. Now Comer to the pocket. A chance. Well, caught behind Gumbleton. Gillen let it go. Cramry to Zaharakis. Normally a good finisher. Can he get the second? Touch play on the call. Hill turns. Almost. It was a big U-boat turning, not quite as nimble as some of the smaller forwards, and just across the face.
Yeah, they might be young and they might be inexperienced, the Giants, but the one thing that's really noticeable at ground level is they actually have some real size about them, the Giants. So in terms of strength, and they're doing more than their fair share of muscling or out-muscling Essendon at the moment. So that's a really good sign for a young developing team.
Yeah, sure is. And size, but real fierce attack on the footy, haven't they? So
Yep. Contested possession at the moment, 49. The Giants in favour of Essendon's 41.
One just got away from Reid there, so a throw in as a result. Hill to Melksham, tells a bit of the story for Essendon so far. Callum Ward put his head over the body, well done Cornelio. Here they come again. Through the middle, Treloar. He uses Ward, then back to Cornelio. Look at the space for Scully. He marks 40 metres out, could have kept going, does keep going now. Has a bounce, so much time and space. He's got it just. That's his second. And GWS with 6 goals.
Essendon got a real problem here too. You see Stanton coming off the ground, so it looks like he's done a quad, or he may have done his groin. He pulled up really, really sharp, and he is off, and I would expect that he would play no further part in this game.
Yeah, just in the pursuit of Scully there, just tried to take off. Tim's spot on, and he's in a bit of strife. Big story for the Bombers. Brent Stanton down the room chasing Tom Scully. Looks like he's done something pretty significant, I think. Soft tissue to one of his legs.
Scully with 2 goals for the first time in a match.
Well, what an extraordinary start to this affair this afternoon. You were thinking Bombers by how much? Surely the Giants would hang around for a while, but right now it's been Giants, and the Bombers are struggling in regard to accuracy. 1 goal, 7.
The significant thing about that is if Stanton is finished for the day, Hocking's going to come in. He's the type of guy that Herb will want around the ball right at this minute, 'cause he's hard, contested, and he's going to shut down the best on-baller for the Giants.
Tom Scully with a couple of goals and Cameron with 3. Their start has been outstanding. Gillan with a kick in short. Townsend. He's called to go now. It's a short one. Cornelio's been very good too. He's run very hard. This will be his 8th disposal in the back pocket. A player who's developing really nicely. Of course, played in a premiership with Swan Districts alongside Andrew Cracker in the WAFL a couple of years ago at the age of 16. Gillam's long kick towards the wing. It's coming back towards Palmer. And here is Cornelio again. Frost got it out. And Core involved. They've chopped it off. Ball into the middle of the ground. It comes Myers' way from Hooker. He can send it long inside 50. Crammery up. He couldn't mark. Might have taken one high there, close to the line and over.
Just see Brett Stanton here chasing Scully just at the left of screen there. He knows exactly what he's done. Scully burns him off and kicks the goal. That's heartbreaking for Bombers fans. Heartbreaking for Brett Stanton. He's been playing some really good footy this season.
He's been so consistent over the years, Stanton. 7 top 5 best and fairest finishes in his 9 years at the Bombers. So the Giants continue to take this game on.
You'd go one out to Cameron, wouldn't you?
Well, Sam Frost goes short to Giles, who waited. Really desperate from Comma. Frost gets hold of the football again now, just a high up and under. No chance of Smith, you'd think, against the tall timber, and Hooker at half-back for the Bombers just settles things down. Tim's already mentioned how subdued this crowd has been this afternoon on the basis that it has been such an unusual start from a Bombers perspective, particularly when you line these two sides up. Having said that, it was the bottom of the side Demons that beat the Bombers last year when they sat in second. It's first versus 18th this afternoon. And the Bombers, through Bell Chambers, need to manufacture something here. Tomlinson just getting in the back of Bell Chambers. I'll ask you, Tom, in a moment, when it is the top of the table, and you were there for a long time in catch jumpers, when you're playing sides you're expected to beat, how difficult it may be mentally. And Crammery, he got leg, wasn't rewarded with a free kick. Now it's desperate Giants. Quickly they go over the top. Green, bad bounce. He'll be happy with the boundary. Mentally, Tommy, is it hard to get up when you've had a big game the week before and a big game coming?
Look, it's always important to respect the game and respect your opposition, and the Bombers are now at the top of the ladder, 5-zip, playing in front of full houses all the time. But you know, that's part of the growing pains of being an elite side. You need to make sure that when you do play a lower side that you're absolutely ruthless from the outset. And I can tell you for sure that James Hird and Mark Thompson will be disappointed with the start so far.
Hardingham there, he chopped off the long kick from Townsend. They haven't quite got out of this yet, the Bombers. Now it ends up from Bagley to Hibbert to Zaharakis, but a good mark. He read it well. It wasn't a great kick taken by Tomlinson, who goes quickly. And you saw him just taking a step there, and fair enough. Josh Bruce, he goes back to Bug.
Hocking just starting to warm up too in front of me here, so it looks like it may be the end of the afternoon for Stanton. It looks like a quad injury to me. I reckon he's torn his quad, which can be a really nasty injury.
Giles the target, the Bug kick. Bagley attacked the football hard. Zaharakis, he decided to go longer instead. It went to Bell Chambers. Merritt was there, leaving the footy behind Melksham. Uncharacteristic mistakes at the moment from Essendon. They got out of that one okay. Pears back to Melksham. A high ball inside 50 more. He's been so good down there. Not good that time though. Hill to Davey. Goal Essendon.
He's been very good so far, Timmy Moore, but unfortunately that one there just slipped through the fingers.
I think I've got two now, Nick. I said Goddard the beautiful kick, and Moore's been good. That was bad luck. They were 2-on-1 in that marking contest too, but they are attacking the footy hard.
You can't give Davey too many chances either, because usually he nails them.
26 minutes between goals for the Bombers. That's their second only of the afternoon.
just the spill, and Davey will always lurk around the goals. When you get 2 up on that situation that led to the spill, it was Tomlinson, the third play up. He's just got to...
Yeah, but he can't enter once he's approached.
I was about to say impact the contest, but the umpires chimed in.
Well, all ends okay for the Bombers. Tim, Brent Stanton's back on the sideline.
A lot of conversation going on down here between the club doctors and Brett Stanton. He looks like, look, he may have made a recovery here. He looks like he's getting himself ready to come back on the ground now. So maybe it wasn't as bad as first thought.
Okay, so Comer on the outer side. Tomlinson got in the back, and
Straight to it.
Merritt will have the free kick. So remember last year we saw the Giants level with the Cats at half-time, got beaten by 10 goals, but what an afternoon they're having at the moment, putting the Bombers under immense pressure. Crameri from 50. Goddard, he's going to get there late, and front spot, well, Gumbleton couldn't take it. Can they work it through here? Tim Moore, who's put under a heap of pressure. Quick high up and under. Cornelio sits underneath it all. Nice bounce in the end out the back to Adams, but he didn't take it cleanly. The Bombers can press hard. They'll hold it in at least. Disappointing in the end by Adams. Treloar, though, just when you thought the whistle was going to blow, came out the back with a football. But again, the Bombers' numbers behind the ball. Short from Howlett. Turned it over. Treloar. No one forward for the Giants. They're just going to have to hold possession here. Wide ball is on. Well, Devon Smith, he's got one, and that's Reid to choose. Howlett bounce for Reid. Needs to go on quickly. It does. Reid and Pears. Reid, Pears. Well, Pears did well. Just hassled enough. Put Reid under pressure. Kept a cool head. And over the top to Dempsey. He's got Merritt all by himself on the outer side.
Merritt running for him. He's got a break on Scully. They've got another one over the top. The big ruckman, Gumbleton, or shorter to Hibberd. So Hibberd, he's got it just behind the wing. He's held up a little bit. That was well done by GWS. Now Melksham runs onto the footy on the logo. Touch ball, you heard the call. Hill, no mark because of that. A push, in fact, it's GWS's free.
And in all that commotion, Brent Stanton just strode back onto the field. Good sign for Bombers fans.
That's amazing, because he looked gone, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
He looked absolutely gone. Scully ran away from him and kicked his second goal, and we thought, well, a couple of problems creeping in here.
I'm not going to make another injury call for the rest of the afternoon after that. I'm done.
Well, Tim, we're not trying to let you off the hook, but he looked absolutely gone.
Oh, I was watching him. He actually pulled up really suddenly. I mean, it was just the classic sort of tear or strain of the quad.
Touch ball again, and as a result, GWS are in here, turning around Devon Smith. Now, he's got a couple of players here. Frost is one of them. The mark is paid. Now Cornelio into an open goal. He's just missed. That would have been for a 26-point lead.
Instead, the Giants are starting to get a little bit tired. They're actually not running as hard to receive the ball, so they're kicking, bombing down the line. Hooker and those guys are picking it off down the line, so it's a lot easier for the Essendon defenders.
I know there's been 11 changes in total, 7 for the Giants and 4 for the Bombers, but these look such different sides to the teams that beat Collingwood and lost to the Suns last weekend. Comer to Crameri, the tackle ferocious in the end. It was hard-earned in the end, and they got it away. Green inside. Here's a chance for Hampton. He's got to attack the football and does.
In the back, free kick, bump in the back.
So the crowd's getting vocal now, but not necessarily for riding the team home. They're starting to get a bit restless, the natives.
That's umpire appreciation, Tim.
Yep.
Well, back to Hampton. From Hampton to Gillam. And now to Bruce. So Adams, who's been good in front of goals, finds himself a long way from home at the moment. Short ball, Scully. So it's played 13 minutes. Still got plenty of time left in this half. And the Giants, they've picked up where they left off in the first term. So Cameron fires it inside. Reid the target. Well done, Hardingham. Got front spot, used his body well. Continued to run. Inside to Dempsey. Dempsey, little ball was good. To Howlett, who's been such an improved player for the Bombers. So important for them now. Now to the outer side, and a neat ball to Gumbleton. Still a long way from home. Goddard screaming for it. Might end up with it. No. Over the top. Now it's got to be an easy sit for Merritt. It wasn't in the end, and an easy pick off for Green.
Really disappointing result, that one for the Bombers. They had David Hill one out against his direct opponent. All it needed was a long ball in. It was Josh Bruce, who's a young player. Lost opportunity for the Bombers.
Townsend ends up doing the ruck work. Zaharakis the roving to the skipper and Watson, now to Dempsey. To the top of the square. Hill, Gillam. Hill got a hand on it, couldn't quite wrestle it in. Still a chance for Gillam. Paddles it forward. Treloar is there to Scully. And they'll work it through the middle. 3 Bombers and just the lone giant in the middle. It's Reid. Reid was desperate. Got hands onto the football. It's spilt. Back to Pear, or make it Myers. And now to Hooker. To Hibbert. Inside to Pears. Goddard, he fumbled. Reid was brilliant to Shield. Now to Cornelio. Numbers through the middle. Callan Ward. He's got Jeremy Cameron long in front. A chance against Hooker. Cameron's hands again win the day.
It's a great kick.
I'll tell you, what Jeremy Cameron does so well, and he took an uncontested mark on the far side a couple of minutes ago. He reads the ball so well in the air and gets himself to the drop zone. He knew out the back. Cale Hooker's a good defender. Takes it the highest point, but you're right, Nick. Absolutely great kick from the skipper, Callan Ward.
6 kicks for Cameron for the afternoon. 3 straight. And he's got another. The Giants are having an afternoon. They lead it by 27 over the top of the table Bombers.
Pear's had a few wins too at the start of this quarter, but just those last 2 contests, Cameron's class really showed out.
He's a beautiful moving football. He's still very lean, but his hands are so safe.
You can't see him being the hulking centre-half forward, can you, with just muscles on muscles, but hugely athletic. And what he does, he takes the ball at the highest point, he kicks truly. If you've got those 2 attributes, you're going to be a pretty handy key forward. It's a beautiful technique.
3 goals last week for Jeremy Cameron. 3 goals last time against the Bombers. That was back in round 9 last year. He's got 4 goals here. His career best is 5, and they might be coming forward here again, GWS. Gee, they're going well. Adams with a long kick. Bouncing ball. Melksham trying to get it close to the line. He played that well. To Hibbert. Hugging the line again. Pushing off at the back. Crammery went for the mark and then was out of the contest. Bug wins the free kick first to the footy.
Yeah, no doubt about that one. Just rode Thomas Bug straight in the back.
So Bug brings it inboard. Here's Adams. They square it up. Dangerous one. It's missed by Bruce in the hands. Then on the ground, a little fumble. Might allow Dempsey in. Hampton got enough of a presence in that contest to get the ball over the line. Just over 7 minutes remaining in this second quarter. And, well, it's better than a good start now. It's terrific, isn't it, Nick?
Oh, excellent. I don't think, as I said, I don't think anyone expected to see this scoreboard.
GWS by 27 points. The ball kicked towards the line. Now, how's the umpire going to see that?
And boys, you talk about the mental side of this game too. I mean, GWS came here hoping that they might have been able to give a strong performance. Now they're actually believing that maybe they can win this game. So you can actually see the confidence in this group out there on the ground at the moment. They're going to be a really tough thing. It's going to be a really tough afternoon from here on in for the Bombers.
Advantage allowed there. It was a Melksham free kick. It ends up with Stanton. This is some sort of recovery. And now the long one down towards Crammery. It was fisted away from behind. Zaharakis fires it out to Watson. Can this get the Bombers going? The skipper to lift them. Even the skipper offline. Out of bounds on the full.
Hayden Core, the first gamer for GWS, doing a really good job on Crammery at the moment. I've been really impressed with his spoiling technique, but also his closing speed.
Josh Bruce gets the Giants out of trouble for the moment. So in what was expected by every pundit to be a really one-sided affair and a bruising afternoon for the Giants, has been quite the opposite. A 27-point lead 6 minutes before half-time, enjoyed by the team wearing white. Quickly around the corner, Adams bounces into the hands of Goddard, gets around Devon Smith, then puts it into dangerous territory. The Giants, they have the numbers again. The Northern Irishman Core got a fist onto it. Davey, nice little lurk. 3 Bombers, a couple of Giants, and again it's Tim Moore. Brilliant. Kept his head, took the ball cleanly and punches it out to space. Now Hampton in a foot race. He's got Howlett to beat. He just looked up at the wrong time, didn't take it cleanly in the end. not the worst of results.
And Hammer, you would think normally that you actually throw an extra behind the ball here. Only sort of 5 minutes left in this quarter to really keep that lead. But Sheeta said, nah, we're going to go one-on-one. You guys get out there and you keep winning your one-on-ones.
Giles with Hill in that ruck contest. Hill on the ground. I tell you what, his contribution cannot be underestimated. Giles, he has been outstanding. And the number of times that he's worked his way to the front, taken clean possession and just booted the ball forward himself. Quite a remarkable performance.
Yeah, he's been really good. Obviously the Bombers without Paddy Ryder, but you'd have to say Giles right on top in that contest.
Cornelio, he's been terrific as well. And in the end, Hooker with the pressure right there. Just happy to see it over the line. It'll be thrown in again.
So it looks like that change has been made with Jeremy Cameron. So he's got Hooker now.
The master and the apprentice on screen together. So far, the master proving as much. Hill close to the line. Here's Hampton. He's pushed off the footy. Taken now behind by Bruce. Was he carried forward? No, holding the ball. Davies free kick to get Essendon moving, and the mark taken by Zaharakis.
Well, this time Goddard, the target, again has a hard edge about it, this Giants back six. Two flew. Goddard went and won it again. Beautiful ball to Crammer. He couldn't take it. And it spills to Green. The smother almost from Zaharakis. Play on the call. Tomlinson went over the top of the football. Gathered again. Brought it in. Got taken high.
Core again, really impressive on the last side of defence there for the Giants.
Reed, front spot against Hibbert. Took it well. Got a running Palmer. Goes in that direction. Now onto the left. High up and under sort of a ball. Cameron. What can he do? Hooker to beat. Well, in the end, he gets it on the noggin.
Probably a good result from there, getting a stoppage up in their forward half.
It's not easy to do this, hey?
You thought after quarter time the Bombers will come out. They'll start to get on top. It hasn't happened yet. So the Giants by 27 points as we close in on half-time. Goddard wrapped up by Smith. Ball spills to Adams. Adams gets round one, then two. Gives it to Scully. Into dangerous territory for the Bombers. The defenders have got to be good here. They've got the numbers. They fly. Now it's Hardingham. Got back. He gave it to his old sparring partner in Hooker. Back to Hardingham. And now to the outer side. Gillam and Hill. And Gillam can't quite keep it in.
A really important contest there by Gillam. They had Jetta over the top there, the Bombers, and then Davey on the overlap even further down the field. So crucial win there by Gillam.
So if you've just joined us, the Giants led by 21 points at quarter time. They've extended that lead. They lead by 27 in the shadows of half-time.
Giles again, great ruck work. First hand of the footy. It's kicked around the corner by Gillam. He got it. A bouncing ball towards Palmer. Outside 50. Goes long in the Cameron direction. It hasn't been touched. It was offline. Just. Well, they keep peppering. And I think everybody in red and black, as you said there, Haim, just waiting for the run to stop. And for Essendon's to come, it hasn't started yet. Here's Hibbert. Got it short from Goddard, and he takes them on. He needs to be careful here. Hibbert with a bounce and then a long kick towards half forward, and that's a very good mark. Bell Chambers away to Davey. Running for him is Comer in support. They can come inside to Jetta again. First game for the season. Jetta's long kick is offline.
That's an interesting setup by the Bombers, obviously sensing the fact that they are a number of goals back. They pushed numbers back behind the ball, which meant to kick a goal he had to run it forward. They starting to win some of these sort of structural wars here, the Giants, at the moment.
4.5 goals to the good, the Giants. 3 minutes before the long break, and Cornelio's got a bit of time and space. Just lost his feet. Dempsey was desperate, couldn't get there, so Kevin Sheedy has got these youngsters playing a ferocious brand of football, and the Bombers, they've got a big second half and a big job to do in that second half if they're going to go into next Friday night. 6-zip. Goddard's weighted ball was perfect to Davey. Cornelio went to ground. Davey saw that, just played on, might run himself into trouble here. He does, holding the ball.
He's been great, Aidan Corp. Just the two handballs, but that doesn't matter when you're playing key back. He's stifled many a forward thrust from the Bombers.
Cork kicks it inside. Palmer, can he mop up, clean up and do a good job of it? Goes backwards to Barg onto his left. And again, the Giants cool under pressure. Tomlinson to the outer side. To Gillam, the most experienced Giant on the park this afternoon. This is his 104th game. Adams finds his man Scully. Reads the target. Long Cameron an option with Pears. Reed's chosen. Got a hand onto it. Now Hardingham. He's got to be good. Reed. The pressure was excellent. Bit of help in the form of Bagley to Bell Chambers to Comma. Can they get one late here, the Bombers? To Jetta. Pulls the kick. It was brilliant. Gumbleton, he can run on in. He'll hit it from about 20. And he's got one. The Bombers needed that before half-time.
The Garlic's starting to kick in now with Scotty Gumbleton, isn't he? He's there by himself, I reckon, in about 100 metres of space. But just, I mean, that's when the Giants are going to be vulnerable if they do turn the ball over like that. Starting to move the ball pretty efficiently from half-back. They got exposed going the other way. Needless to say, a super important goal there for the red and black. To see Scotty Gumbleton just on the top of the screen there, had the whole side of the ground to himself. A really important time for the Giants now. They have faded late quarters so far this year. Just hang on here for this last 90 seconds.
Yeah, that's what they'll be wanting to do, but they'll have ideas of another goal as well. That was beautifully done. Green got it from Giles. Good mark, though. Hooker plays on quickly. And, of course, Essendon with ideas of another goal as well. Myers wanting to move it quickly. GWS by 21 points at quarter time. It's 21 points right now, and well done, Scully. He got in there between Goddard and the footy. Unlucky not to get a free kick, perhaps. That's a good mark. Gumbleton drifted in. Zaharakis. Stanton, the comeback man, incredible. Goes backwards to Bagley. Short one's on for Melksham. Now he looks upfield. And the holes are pretty much filled. Bagley kept running as a result. And Treloar, can he go with him? Did he take a step? Umpire says no.
Played it well. Watson's actually deep now for the Bombers. Moore's gone to him. Gillum, the free man for the Giants.
So 40 seconds left on the clock for the second quarter. Gumbleton, second attempt, not quite. Important now, Hampton. His handball ricochets for Jetta. Look away, handball. Melksham close to the line. He's kept it alive well, Hampton. Stepping inside, the little kick through the GWS defence was excellent. Well done, Adams. He found Frost, and that might just about do it for the term.
Palmer just needs to find one more target, and they will enjoy this half-time lead. If you'd said to the Giants pre-game, are you happy with a 21-point lead at half-time, they said you would love to be within 4 goals.
We'll take that.
They lead it by 3.5 goals at the long break. Extraordinary stuff. 7-5 to 3-8. 4 straight.
Quarter time, but as we saw in that second term, it doesn't just happen.
No, they can't afford to just have those expectations, and I'm sure that would have been rammed down their throats from the respective coaches at the Bombers that they must start well and be far more ruthless and competitive.
So Hurd in year 3, Sheeds in year 29, and a club still just 27 games old. An AFL infant leads at half-time, and Jeremy Cameron gets the first mark of the second half. He's got 4. Can he make it 5?
He's right on that.
Just great anticipation there. Quick kick. You never know how far they're going to go, those ones, and just coming forward, dives forward, and you can't stop that as a defender.
Whose best is 5. That was in round 5 against the Western Bulldogs last year. Jeremy Cameron 4-5. Umpire shuffles just a little, but the Giants start the second half just perfectly. And the emotion and the energy around Jeremy Cameron is saying something, Nick Maxwell.
And you can just see, actually right there on the screen, you see Cameron with all the other forwards right around each other. Essendon just sort of wandering around in dribs and drabs. They're not together as a defensive group. I guess it's been left to pairs to do that job one-on-one, and it's a tough job at the moment. The ball's coming in quite often. The ball's coming in well. And Jeremy Cameron, we know, is a star of the competition. You can see, I think, Hooker's coming over to him now.
Just the perfect start for the GWS Giants, getting the first goal. If it was testy at half-time with the coaches and the players at the Bombers, you reckon it might be pretty testy again?
Bomber needs another cricket bat. He needs a second one.
Well, they're probably all bruised and sore from the beating at half-time.
Giles has been terrific. Townsend, they just keep willing the ball forward. Well done by Dempsey against Canelio. Now Watson, handball not that precise. Taken by Reid. He kicks long down towards full forward. Cameron again wrestling. The ball's got through the back here. Is there a boot on there? No. Rushed over by the Bombers' defence. And the lead, 28 points now.
Tell me a bigger upset. I know we're a long way from that, but this is first versus bottom. Bombers versus a side that's never been less experienced in their second season. You got one for me, Tom? Crammery taken to ground by Core. Tripped. Advantage called. So Zaharakis from Mosquito Fleet to Anzac Day medalist onto the left. A chance maybe for Gumbleton. Well, Gillen went to ground, maybe a little gingerly. Jeddah is there with Merritt. Jeddah looks for hands, gave it to Goddard. Missed this time, he's looking for Crammery. Zaharakis went to ground, back to Goddard, back to Crammery. Now Bagley to a hot spot. It's going to bounce, and then it's all about the bounce. Over the top of Reid. Has he got time to give it off? We gave it to Watson in the end. He went looking, went to Melksham, bounces once onto the right boot. He wants his left. The right's okay, and it works out well for Dempsey.
Reasonably labour intensive there from the Bombers. Joe Watson getting involved, which is important for them. It's what you don't want to see from a GWS perspective. There's a couple of broken tackles. It's really important they continue to drive and drive hard at the body.
Well, early going, and I didn't think I'd be saying this afternoon, but the Bombers need this. Crosses the arc and just puts it left. So another let-off for the Giants, another disappointment in a very disappointing afternoon for the Bombers.
You talk about the upset, Hame. The last time bottom beat top was round 9 2005. Maxie, any idea what that game was?
You're kidding, are you?
You were bottom with Collingwood and you knocked off West Coast Eagles.
I was about to say that.
Good to have Nick Maxwell with us. Great to have Nick Maxwell with us. And I wonder if we're just witnessing potentially a little piece of football history. 19 times you said it's happened, Tom.
Don't put the Moz on it, Baz.
Green gets it back from Canelio. And now he's called to go by the umpire. Play on. You can see him waving his arms around. Umpire Tristan Burgess was pretty well played by Green. He just stepped inside. A long one up the line. Under the circumstances, that will do.
That change on Jeremy Cameron has been made for sure now. So Pears comes across to Frost and Hooker goes to Cameron.
GWS's lead, 27 points. We've gone just over 4 minutes in the third term. Ball hacked out of midair. It's going to end up with Green and then Treloar, and now Scully needed to be quick. The kick came from Melksham out of thin air by the Bombers, and they work it forward again over the footy. Bruce did nicely, gets it across to his man, and now Tomlinson, he paddled forward. Bug's kick was blanketed. Chance for Bagley. Now Stanton. He looks up the line, he's got a player loose and the player can run. He gathers the ball, does Merritt. He looks long down towards full forward. Gumbleton from behind, he had a big fly at it. Didn't really get off the ground. Ball on the deck, going down dangerously. Sliding was Bruce. The kick out of defence from Moore. Umpire says deliberate.
It may have been a bit of a delayed reaction to my earlier statement, but Stanton now has the vest, so he's been substituted out of the game. And Hocking comes into the game. We know that he plays a very strong midfield role, generally runs with somebody, so it will be interesting to see whether or not he goes to one of the key midfield players of the Giants.
So Goddard, he starts outside the field of play, he sends it long. I said he was a good kick. Finally, he proves me right.
All the predictions starting to match up now, aren't they? Tim's getting them right. Baz, you're getting them right. Maybe normality starting to be restored here, and it's an extremely important goal there for the Bombers. That's a massive understatement, but you're just starting to get the sense they're winning a few more of the one-on-ones. The Giants players just turning the ball over a bit more than what they were in the first half. But now the challenge is to go back-to-back. They probably need a couple of goals in a row here, Essendon, just to really reassert their authority.
Not many players in the competition who can do that consistently, but Goddard's definitely one of them, isn't he?
Yep.
So we're back to that 21-point margin as we were at quarter time, as we were at half time. This game seems to be unscripted for the most part. Howlett, terrific to Dempsey, who's got that pace and that burst and that dash, and again, it's a beautiful kick. Gumbleton on the end of this.
And for the first time this afternoon, the crowd is really starting to find voice down here.
Step to your right, left. Yep.
So subdued in that first half. Tim alluded to it. They got up and about over a few umpiring decisions, but very little to get excited about from a Bombers perspective. The Goddard goal got them out of their seats, and this from a man that's been so resilient. He's so popular at the football club. It looks good off the boot. The crowd tells the story. 2 in a row to the Bombers. And suddenly the flags and the voice and the movement, Tom, around Etihad Stadium from those watching on wearing red and black.
And it's been a really good start to the year for Scott Gumbleton. Came into the side against the Saints, kicked forward, took a lot of marks, was very active in the Anzac Day game too. He's just starting to move well, and one question mark might be his kicking, but the slot one from the boundary like that augurs well. Just saw before it was Reece Palmer came off the line from the half-forward line. He's actually hurt his hand a little bit in trying to affect the tackle, but Gumbleton, great finish from outside 50 on the angle.
So the lead reduced. It's 15 points now. Giles again with first hands. Goddard, he could have released a little earlier there for Howlett. Scully gets in there as a result. They're fighting hard. Shield in there. He's tackled by 4 Bombers. You can see the intensity has really gone up with Essendon, and Shield didn't like it.
You see the difference hockey makes around the packs.
Thrown up again over the top. Myers was the third man up. Quick kick forward by Zaharakis. Davey, here's Hocking. He's tackled. Now this could be holding the ball.
Hold the ball, GWS. Dived on it, must knock it out. 50 metres, language.
And now 50 as well.
I don't think there was much you could argue about that one.
Especially with the mics up.
You sense the next goal is really important. Bombers get it and you think, oh, they're going to run away with this. If the Giants can just get the next and get it back to 21 points and rest a little bit of the momentum back, it'd be important.
Without a doubt.
So Reid with the free kick, he sends it long. Well, it was the right idea to the Cameron direction, into the Cameron direction, but it just had way too much on the kick, out of bounds on the full, and that's a bit of a let-off for Essendon. Although not an easy place to get a free kick deep in the pocket like this.
Hooker, Tomlinson, third man, didn't lay a glove on it, and out the back the ball spills. Shield almost off to the races, but umpire was on the spot. So a 15-point lead to the Giants, 21 at quarter time, 21 at half time. Got out to 27 early in this third term. Out the back, Scully and Reid. Neither really read it well. The ruckman went underneath it all, and the Bombers got the run on the outer side. Dempsey will get it back from Hibbert. And now, again, it's Dempsey that punches the ball forward. This time it was Crammy that was a target. Core, the Northern Irishman, whose parents moved out to Perth when he was just a toddler, plays his first game this afternoon. And he gets a little bit of distance on the outer side.
Brett Stanton's got the red vest on. Let's get down to Doc Larkins. Doc, what can you tell us about the injury for Stanton?
Yeah, it was 5 minutes in the second quarter. He got a little tear of his upper adductor just at the top of the groin, Basil, and it just the first time he had to kick after half-time, he felt a tear a little bit more. He's iced up, red-vested. Stanton out for a couple of weeks.
Thanks, Doc. Just as Tim hypothesised.
Tim's been on the money. He went early. He made a statement before the game about Gumbleton. That's proving right.
Well, can I ask you this question? Would they have left him on as long as they did against a higher-ranked team? Come back to it if you want.
No, you'd hope there'd be consistency regardless of who you're playing. And James Hird made that comment to both Tim and Hamish before the game. There's no experimentation when you play against any sides. It's business as usual. So you'd hope not, Baz.
Such a young side having such a brilliant afternoon. They still, by 2.5 goals, lead this game. They've got their noses in front. Reid punches the ball forward again. Cameron, who's been a target all afternoon, gets caught a long way back. But Frost gives away the free kick, and Hibbert, who grew up idolising Koutafidis, took his number 43, but obviously didn't love him that much. Then replaced that with number 1. Now to Hill, and Hill to Merritt. Melksham's deep. Comer is short, hands onto it. Comer was chosen. Now to Davey. He can cross the arc and he can have a crack at goal. The finish is terrific. The crowd, they know it. The Bombers, they're coming now.
And Hampton actually did the right thing up on the half-forward flank there. He left his man, got across for the spoil for a more dangerous opponent, but unfortunately the ball just got over the back.
I reckon there, Nick, too, he did all of what you said correctly, but I think he might have gone for the mark rather than the big punch, and having gambled and left his man, he needed to impact that contest.
And that's a price you pay when you're a defender.
We've got a couple of them up here.
Yeah, just Curtly Hampton really needed to kill the ball. They're those sorts of things, I guess, that the Giants will be just learning. It's almost growing pains. They've had an opportunity. They're still in front, but you should never take your foot off the pedal when you've got a chance to hurt your opponent.
Clearance is 28-14 GWS's way this afternoon, but for the first time in a long time, it is a single-figure lead for GWS.
Nothing there.
They've also started to get right on top of the disposal count now, 230 to 220 in favour of the Bombers.
Howlett to Hibbert. He goes long. Crammery. It's a bouncing ball for him. Can he get around? He does. He got away from Core into the post. Unlucky. Did everything right, Crammery. Just not the finish. It's an 8-point ball game.
So the Giants somehow need to find a way forward. They've struggled in the last 6 or 7 minutes, and Essendon have wrestled the momentum back. Palmer taken over. And Dempsey, what a story he's been. He's the pin-up boy for all those that are going through knee reconstructions and rehabilitation. Hill, Frost, Watson. So good in the mayhem of the midfield, Watson. Hibbert to Hocking, start as a sub. The kick forward, well, that was perfectly weighted in the end, and now the Bombers have got it on their terms.
Yeah, beautiful kick there by Heath Hocking. Now, Nick Maxwell spoke about the midfield grunt that Hocking adds. Ever since he's come on, he's been the only player who's gone and made physical contact with Jacob Townsend, who's wearing Joe Watson like a glove, and that's what he brings, and then obviously worked away from the stoppage there. So not only doing the offensive work, but giving his teammates a chop out. Really positive start.
Stewie Crammery, normally pretty good from a set shot. 7-2 this year from set shots. Make it 8-2. The Bombers, they've kicked 5 of the last 6, and they've got the momentum now.
And that was the breakaway stoppage there. Joe Watson got involved. Heath Hocking, as I mentioned earlier, was the one who put the block on Jacob Townsend for Joe Watson, then delivered the ball. Absolutely lace out.
Essendon haven't led since the 3-minute mark of the opening term. GWS's lead now just 2 points. Can they stand up Treloar? That was a good indication of one player willing to do just that. But boy, the Bombers have come and come hard. Treloar out to Ward, and Ward indicating that just hold things up a little. Short to Palmer. So some of the experienced heads just trying to slow the tempo of the game down. Kick across for Moore. Inside defensive 50. Moore terrific. 16 disposals this afternoon. Now Josh Bruce. First game for the season. Just his 4th in a couple of seasons for GWS. And the mark taken by Gillam.
Just a double switch on here. They've got people out the fat side.
Gillam just backward of the wing. They thought about it, Tim and Nick, but didn't get there in the end. Here's Shield. Close to the boundary line. He sends it inside 50. Giles was the target that time. Ball gets over the back. Zaharakis very close to the line. In fact, he was over. It'll be thrown in.
Yeah, certainly clearly out there on that occasion. Good decision from the boundary up.
1 metre, 1 metre.
So GWS then. They dearly love this next goal. Just to stop that Essendon momentum as much as anything else. Player went down to ground.
Push out, Callum Ward. Callum Ward, push out. Let it go. You got the free kick. Got the free kick. Callum Ward.
So Ward went down, milked him into his back. Can't argue with that.
No argument there. Great comments from Giants coach Kevin Sheedy about Callum Ward. Drew the comparison with Mark Thompson. obviously a premiership captain for the Bombers under Sheeds, really likes the way Cal Ward goes about his footy.
He's kicked just the 1 goal so far this season before today. He starts it right as bending. Just not enough of behind. That would have been a big goal from the skipper. A behind only. It's back to 3 points for GWS.
Hibberd with the duty of finding a red and black jumper. Long ball. Hardingham just kept his eye on the ball. Lost his feet. Did a great job. Bagley's got a bit of space. He's ignored. And the boundary line is the chosen option. Gumbleton with all that height. 3 Giants go up. They kill the ball out the back. Davey. Zaharakis cruises past. Davey just holds things up. Now in the Hill direction. Gumbleton at full pace. Hill goes in that direction now. Gumbleton, he'll have the height advantage more. He went over the top. Killed the ball again. It's close against the boundary. Moore couldn't take it over. Watson so brilliant. Onto the left. He can't finish the transaction. And Treloar, he can't keep it in.
A couple of times there for the Giants. They have had the opportunity to really get the ball out of the area, but just haven't got enough on the spoil and have left the Bombers midfielders at the fall of the ball still in play.
So the Giants just hanging on to the lead now. 21 points at halftime. Now just 3. Cornelio hurriedly out of dangerous territory for the Giants. And Tomlinson. Not a lot to kick to. The white jumpers start to flood back on the outer side wing. Palmer. Reid is one out with Hibberd, about 60 from goal. That's about it. He's got a very congested wing to deal with. Now to the pack. Reid just pushed, and in the end the Bombers will get out of it without too much trouble.
A bit of a tired free kick, that one. The last 4 goals of the game, the Bombers. Tammy said to get it back to 3 points, but Nick, Tom, if you'd said, well, you can be 3 points in front at this point of the game, they would have taken it every time.
Absolutely. You said they're getting a little bit tired, and the Essendon experience, they're really starting to run them off their legs.
So kick forward by Myers, not brilliant. Moore read that brilliantly. He gets to the 50. He's bending it back. It doesn't come around enough, and a better kick may have found a free man inside 50. Reid was drifting. He just didn't get the kick, or maybe wasn't spotted. And so the quick kick in from Essendon.
So Myers with a bit of space at halfback. Short ball in the middle. And Howlett continues to play on, loses the football, then just into a bit of space, waits for it. Zaharakis, the bounce was kind. Out the back, the big fly. Melksham couldn't take it, went to ground, gets given the ball by Davey. Quick kick, smothered. Shield, they'll have to wait for Gumbleton. The handball to Zaharakis was good, the finish wasn't.
So let off the hook there, the Giants, by the missed kick on Zaharakis. Toby Green's got the job on Zaharakis. A really great learning curve for Toby Green. We know he can find the football, but just needs to be a bit tighter when he's given a defensive role. Zaharakis now up to 19 disposals.
Moore kicks in, dangerous one for Hampton. Well done, he marked that in the hands, running with the flight of the ball, and Davey was right there sweating on him. Not easy those, and he wrapped that up very coolly.
So Goddard's really starting to play the back half of the ground, just floating around and really starting to set the Bombers up.
Chip kick for Devon Smith. 7.5 minutes remaining in this third term. Very important for GWS, even if they can't make a big impact on the scoreboard, just to try and resist what Essendon might throw at them.
Well, the way they evaluate how they're progressing with the footy club is quarters won. So clearly won the first 2 quarters, and you know, it looks like Essendon at this stage might win this quarter, but they've just got to hang in. It's all character building stuff for them. Give themselves a chance, and then they get a sniff, and you never know what could happen.
Shielded well there. It was unlucky, bad bounce. It went to Bagley, but cleverly done by Treloar. He somehow got his hands on that. His kick long caught everybody off guard, particularly his forwards, and Hooker read it well.
So Hibberd receives and goes to the wing. Now Bell Chambers needs a kind bounce. Just gets away from him. Giles got a hand onto it. Bell Chambers waited and then just had Cornelio putting him under pressure. Didn't take it cleanly. Cornelio, the look away to Giles. Giles to half forward. It's all about the bounce now. It just sits up. Favours Smith. He's still got Hibberd to beat and might just beat him. Gets onto the left boot. Now it's about the bounce again. Once, twice. It'll be cut off last line. So 4 points now, the lead. 6.5 to play before the final change.
Myers bounces away from defensive goal, gets to the 50. Melksham running for him. He looks inside. He's got Commer short if he wants him. Cramery all on his own. He gets a big run at it. Couldn't mark. Waiting downhill. Throws it onto the boot. It's offline and behind.
Great effort by Ward there, running back with a flight.
Game really starting to open up now. Both sides starting a little bit tired in deep into this third quarter, particularly the Giants about their two-way running, an area of the game that they were really, really good at early on.
So Gillam to Cornelio. Cornelio's been playing senior football for a long time. Was playing in the Waffle as just a 16-year-old. Now brings it in the Jonathan Giles direction, who had to wait a long time to play AFL. Dempsey quickly to Hocking. Watson sharks it. Now to Goddard. Can he finish? Puts it to the hot spot. Hill, well, front spot. Well done, Bruce. Stood his ground. And now to Moore. Can they hang on to this lead at three-quarter time?
Yeah, there's not really anyone bursting into space now. It's going to be... Oh, he's got to hit those targets.
Well, Bug was missed. Luckily, Palmer was there. Over the top. He waited a long time for the ball. Cornelio, now the Bombers desperate. Watson to Cramery. Well, sliding and a Bombers goal, you'd think. The instinct of Palmer, so natural for a player like Palmer, but now Jordan Bannister has to blow the whistle.
And no argument whatsoever from Reece Palmer. He knows. I think he's probably frustrated that that's the rule and that's the interpretation, but he knows.
In a way, it was almost a professional free kick, wasn't it? Yep. Because had he not given it away, they would have run into an open goal.
So Cramery has to finish, and he does. The Bombers are in front by 3 points in the shadows of three-quarter time.
A couple of goals now for Cramery. He hasn't been his best day. He's had a good battle with Aiden Core. He can snag a couple now.
Core's actually won a lot of those one-on-ones, which surprised me because Cramery is very, very strong, and obviously we know how quick he is.
Yep.
Such a good story, Stu Cramery. Rookie draft to rookie elevation. A bargain price early going. Great forward.
This is the textbook definition of the new rule, really. They're to protect the players' knees. We don't want to see ACLs and PCLs and hyperextensions and those sorts of things, and Reece Palmer knew straight away that that's a free kick.
GWS led for 76 minutes. They've given the lead up now. Here's Zaharakis going for goal number 6 in a row. Cramery around the body. Offline, just to behind. So they're really coming hard now, Essendon. Their lead is 4 points. You look at that again, and I guess what we know now is you've just got to stay on your feet, don't you?
Yep.
There's no going to ground. Bug kicks to himself. Giles the target, got over the back. Here's Hibbard. He's got a few options. He's missed the target that time. Zaharakis was that target. And the kick not good. Townsend read it well on defensive 50. So GWS, we've learned a lot about their character in the opening half. They've been terrific. What can they find here? They are tiring. Again, Townsend's kick didn't hit a target. At the back it comes to Hooker. He got around the target from Pears. Gee, well done Bagley. He rode a heavy bump. Frost in there. They've won it back here, GWS. Devon Smith taken high.
Hold the ball. Essendon free kick.
That looked high to me.
Essendon free kick. Essendon free kick. Holding the ball. Yes.
That was high, wasn't it?
Yep, definitely.
I'm watching. Let's keep going high. Ducked under it.
It's a pretty short conversation, those ones, aren't they? Thought it was high. Nah, ducked under it. Move on.
Very few umpires go back and say, OK, well, I'll give it to.
Oh, you're right. The replay suggests it was high.
Hibbert to Pears. Short ball is on. It was a good ball in the end, and Bell Chambers on the end of it. The Bombers looking more like the Bombers.
I think what we're seeing now is the difference between, a number of pre-seasons and just a few pre-seasons, and it gets really hard for young-bodied players to be able to run quarters out, and particularly in the second half, that's when you find the real difference between those who are seasoned campaigners and those that are not.
So Bell Chambers, he's really flourished in the last year and a half. 2012 certainly his best of his 5 seasons to date. He's become the Bombers' #1 big man. So a 5-point lead just before three-quarter time. If you just joined us, the Giants led by 21 at quarter time and 21 at half time. Got out to 27 points in this, the third term.
The Bombers with the last 5 goals of the game. Townsend's kick, a dangerous one. Moore's got a bit of work to do here. And in the end, the contest was hard. He knew Hill was coming and over the line. Not the best result, but not the worst either, given where it was heading. It's going to be thrown in inside 50 for Essendon. 2.5 to play. Hill up in front. Giles behind. Cramery got enough on the ball. It was a good kick from there. He couldn't straighten it up, and it's a behind.
What the Bombers can do now is they can really put on their squeeze and lock the Giants in here. This ball has been played in the front half of the Bombers for the whole term. They can really squeeze it up and force a turnover and put the game beyond doubt.
So Shield, Canelio the target. He's got Dempsey to beat. And in the end, it's back in dangerous hands. Jetta tackle, but back to Dempsey. Off a step. Well, it might just work out. Well, no, just a bit of heat on it. It was kept in. Hill did a reasonable job. Moore got given a chance and then panicked a little. And he had more time than he knew.
Hasn't made many mistakes today, Tim Moore. He's been absolutely outstanding for the young side.
So Merritt, just at 20 years of age, a young bomber, not so as a Giant, almost be a veteran in a Giants jumper. Jetta backwards to Hocking. He's got another. 7 of the last 8 now for the Bombers. He's added a bit of grunt, hasn't he, since he came on. Hocking. He started as a sub. Brent Stanton subbed out of the game, and the bull that is Heath Hocking has had a good afternoon since being included.
He drives, obviously, the competitive spirit for this Essendon side. The one area he really has helped out is he's provided a chop out for Jobe Watson. Jacob Townsend has worn him like a glove. Jobe really starting to get on top now. That tells the tale of the tape. It really has been a floodgates quarter for the Bombers, squeezing right up. Important, the Giants just hang tight here, take a breather at three-quarter time, go again.
For counting those Bombers on the right, 6 in a row. So they've kicked the last 6 of the game with about 90 seconds to play. That one was high.
Hey! Let go now. Free kick, GWS.
Looks a bit sore, Devon Smith, too. He's copped a whack in the nose and called the blood rule himself.
Wait. Keep him down. No, that's okay. We'll play on.
It was interesting. Devon Smith actually said blood rule.
As an umpire changing his decision. Ever seen that before?
You said that never happens, Sonny.
I've hardly ever been right.
Out wide to Core. Here's Gillan. Played one game for Port Adelaide, then played in a premiership with another club. Sound familiar, Tom?
Yeah, it does.
It's a rare club, I'd say. Ball off Palmer's hands and out of bounds for a throw-in, and there it was.
Yep, just copped it just a clip. He also got the one in the back as well. Fair to say he earned that one, Devon Smith.
Yeah, he did. Now, can they find a goal late here, GWS? That was an interesting handball across to Goddard. Good kick, though. That was Dempsey with the interesting one. Zaharakis keeps it inside the field of play. Well done. Terrific stuff by Toby Green. A ball magnet last season. Output down this year on account of the hard tag he's been getting. But you can still impact the game even when you don't get the footy in your hands.
And that's exactly what the coaches want to see. They've given him a task. Zaharakis, 34 touches and 4 goals last week. Toby Green, you get the job, have a crack at it.
And talking about influencing the contest, Jobe Watson, 9 possessions in this term, 8 of them contested. Slightly quiet early, so Reid on the outer side. He's found his man, but Adams ran into trouble. Just talking about this inexperienced outfit, 22 names for the GWS today have played 587 games between them. That's 75 less than Kevin Sheedy has coached in his career. It's a young side, and it's been a plucky side this afternoon, but the Bombers have got on top in this third term. Zaharakis to Hibbert. Can he find a target late? They've got time, the Bombers. Got the lead in Gumbleton through hands. He'll get the free kick.
Chop of the arm. Just here, thanks.
Kicked one from here early in the quarter.
You're just hanging on for dear life when you're a defender like that, Nick, aren't you?
Absolutely.
It's instinct just to say, I just don't want him to mark it. If he gets a free kick, well, you cop that. But no doubt about that one being a free kick.
So a terrific story It's been well documented. He struggled to get on the football field, but when he does, he's so influential, and he's got another one for the Bombers in this third term. It's out to 3 goals, right on three-quarter time. So a 21-point lead at half-time becomes an 18-point lead to the Bombers at three-quarter time. More after the break on Saturday afternoon football.
Huge game next Friday night against the Cats, so they will sorely miss him.
Absolutely, he's been outstanding in the last few years. As we said earlier, 7 top 5 best and fairest finishes in the last 9 years. But Carlisle, Heppel, Winderlick, Fletcher and Hurley, you would think, will return on Friday night.
And the sub has been activated for GWS. Zach Williams is on, number 51, and Sam Frost has taken his place on the bench. He might get cold down there. Hibbert kicks towards the middle of the ground. It's a bouncing ball. Never easy, these ones. Gumbleton. He got a little fist on it, and that was pretty well done. Across to the big ruckman, and then cruising past Howlett. A long one. Still alive here for Cramery. They've got 7 in a row. Seven in a row, and the opening goal of the final term inside 30 seconds. And we know that GWS were in the game a couple of weeks ago against Melbourne, right in the game, and then allowed the Demons to concede, to score rather, their highest final quarter score in their history. So I guess they'll need to be careful here now.
No doubt about that. They've got right on top in the third quarter, the Bombers. Just continuing the trend from the third quarter. They got right on top of the Bombers, dominated contested possession 41-26. They had 16 inside 50s for the quarter for 14 scoring shots. They're leaking like a sieve at the moment, the Giants.
So Giles knocks it down. Townsend finds himself underneath it all. And then Williams hurriedly forward. Just an ugly sort of a ball for Tomlinson. Dempsey. Tomlinson, industrious, worked it to Cornelio.
Play on.
Little under Scully, wider now. Townsend, Shield, back it goes, and there's a couple of Giants. Bruce is one of them, but Pears pushed out of the way. Strong mark from Treloar.
He's going to be a dead set star, Adam Treloar. He's probably flown under the radar a bit from the likes of Devon Smith, Jeremy Cameron, John Patton, Steve Coniglio. He was taken as a pre-selected player before the draft, and he has got all the attributes to be an out-and-out superstar of the game.
The young body stood up to 18 games last year, hasn't missed this year, and he hasn't missed right then either. The Giants get one early going in the fourth term.
Someone that I'm sure Herb would like to see a bit of in this quarter is Leroy Jetta. He's only had the 7 touches. He's been out of the side for much of the year, in and out. You'd really like to see him actually run through the middle at times and use his speed to break up the play.
It's going to be important for a few of those fringe players for the Bombers who have had an opportunity to play today. Pears is one that springs to mind. He had his hands full with Cameron, and Leroy Jetta certainly the other one.
So after 33 minutes, finally a goal for GWS. It was 8 in a row for Essendon. 8 in a row, and then Treloar putting an end to that finally. Ball bounced in the middle and getting very high. Bell Chambers, he did that nicely down to Melksham, who kept the ball rolling forward. Ward cross to Hampton, needs to be careful here. Gillen, now Williams on the ground. The sub is kicked towards the middle, and gee, that was very well read by Bagley.
Took that in amongst 3 Giants there.
Isn't that an excellent mark?
Yep.
Myers.
Play on. Play on.
Essendon's lead back to 3 goals. Myers kick not good. Cameron read that well, and then the little paddle went into the went into no man's land, and that was bad luck for GWS. They were there, and Dempsey able to mop up as a result. Now drifting through, a long kick. Myers got his boot to it at the back of the pack. Gillam, he gets it back to Bug. And again, it comes Gillen's way. He looks upfield. Callum Ward provides the lead, and that's a good kick.
There's no offensive spread from the Giants. They look really fatigued when they're taken to the ground, whether it be in a tackle or a marking contest. Very slow to get up. Just going to have to box their way through this final half hour.
So Ward, Tomlinson the target, and Hooker did well. Then plays on quickly to Dempsey, who's got a paddock in front of him. And from the logo, hits it in the Cramery direction, and again, Crameri on the hard lead with those super hands.
You're spot on, Tom. The uncontested marks were a lot higher in the first sort of quarter and a half from the Giants. As soon as they get tired, they actually stop working for each other because of that. They're still getting back defensively, but just offensively, they're not really giving that run and spread.
Yeah, nowhere to go on there on the release.
So the leading goal scorer in 2011 and 12 for the Bombers. 3-3 for the afternoon. Make it 4-3. Back out to 4 goals.
Really good learning curve for Aidan Corr, the first gamer. High draft pick, really hot prospect for a key position player, playing on Stewie Crameri, who's now kicked the 4 goals. He's had 7 shots at goal, and he keeps you really honest. He works. He's got a fantastic work rate. He marks the balls he should, takes it at the highest point. And for a first gamer, it's always a tough experience regardless, but to play against a player of his quality. But he's been okay, Aidan Corr. Just the build up here. You just see all the space out in the front, and Crameri just had the front position. That's all he needed. Perfectly weighted kick. Geez, they're strong hands.
That was a great grab. It'd be a shame for GWS to get blown away here, because for 3 quarters, 2.5 certainly, they were so good. Green, his kick not ideal either, and marked by Myers, who gets the ball on quickly. Little handball, cruising past Dempsey. Treloar had it, and he handballed to a teammate in trouble. Ball spilt out the back. Howlett's kick towards the top of the square. Well done by Gillam. That was excellent defence. Equally well done by Merritt, but the ball didn't get to the man it was intended for. That was Hill. And they've arrived to try and tie it up through Hampton. Now, how will the umpires see this? Well, he lets it go, and accordingly, the ball came out the back, and then not as much time given the second opportunity, and the ball will be thrown up top of the goal square.
It's fair to say a few numbers around the ball at the moment there, Baz.
So the Giants are up by 27 points in the third term. Bombers now by 24. So a 51-point turnaround. Still plenty of time for both sides to make an impression on the current lead of 24 points. Hibbert loops the ball wide. Hooker just gets corralled by Tomlinson, but goes wide, and suddenly it's the Bombers again. And Bagley gets inside 50. He's just offline. And such a strong lineup to come back into this Bombers outfit. Carlisle and Heppel and Winderlich and Michael Hurley, we think, next week. And Dustin Fletcher, who, if he played today, was going to become the only player in the game to play both Fitzroy and the Giants. He was unlucky, obviously, to miss playing university by just a couple of years.
That's some of your best stuff now, Haim, isn't it? Just really reaching into the annals. That's outstanding.
Well, if he sticks around long enough, Haim, he might get the next new team.
Well, he's actually also survived 3 coaches, 7 captains and 5 prime ministers, and the way he's going, he might get another prime minister short enough.
One of those coaches was on the left of screen just a moment ago. He's got reason to be pretty pleased. His team have really had a go today. Giles in there, working the ball towards the bottom of the pack, and Shield takes it, kicks long. Williams.
Picked him up. No advantage.
Free kick for the trip. So it'll come back to Williams.
And Paddy Ryder, the other player, also to come in for the Bombers. So there are some players really playing for spots as the year progresses. We've spoken about Tate Pearce as a key back. David Hill, you'd have to say, would be playing for his spot going forward.
Quick handball to Shield. Palmer on Hooker's back. Should have been a free kick. Back is Dempsey there. Got the ball to Pearce, and now Bagley very close to the line. They kick towards the wing. Moore's been fantastic. Good spoil again. Gumbleton has tried as well, and the ball over the line for a throw-in.
And you would have thought the GWS midfielders would really have to dominate for them to have, I guess, stayed in the game as long as they have. But Shield 13, Scully 15, Ward 14, Smith 9. They're not huge numbers, so it's good to see it's a good spread.
Green quickly. Well, in the end, it was just a drop ball from Bruce. He's been harassed by Pearce. Goddard, he snatches it out the back and gives it to Zaharakis, who off a step puts it to the wing. Merritt just outplayed by Hampton, but the tackle was strong, and suddenly the Bombers through Howard, if he paddles it wide, can go forward again. Gumbleton, the big striding Gumbleton. The lead is on again. Well, that was just clinical in the end to Bell Chambers.
Part of the great tall depth that the Bombers have at the moment, Tom Bell Chambers. I think you mentioned earlier in the call, Haim, his development over the past 18 months. He's pushing right up there in the top bracket of ruckman. Gumbleton's moving exceptionally well, but when you've got a player like Bill Chambers, if he goes in tandem with Paddy Ryder, they can both go forward, they can both dominate centre clearances. Pretty powerful 1-2 punch.
Just one behind for the afternoon to date. He changes that. That was a perfect strike. And the Bombers are out to 31. It is an embarrassment of riches, isn't it, at the moment in regard to talls, with Bell Chambers and Gumbleton and Hurley and Carlisle and Fletcher, and Cramery's a big guy.
Yep.
They've got this wonderful midfield brigade, but for defensive six, Maxi, it's a big job.
Absolutely. And we talk about Pears. He's had a tough day today on Cameron, who was very good, particularly in the first half. I guess when you're trying to get into these strong sides, that's where you really got to take your chances, don't you? So Pears and Jetta and these guys, they'd hope to finish the game strongly now.
A little bite of the fingernails by James Hird, but the nail-biting stuff is over now for the Bombers, and here they come again through Hocking. Started as the sub, sends it long. Oh, that's a terrific mark defensively by Gillen. The ball coming a million miles an hour. They're not easy to take. The two guys alongside us, Haim, know a bit about that. Wasn't that just terrific?
Yeah, he's actually been pretty good, Gillen. I think it's important for this young side to have some senior players. He's a premiership player at Hawthorn, played over 100 games, and he can certainly set this tone for, I guess, some of the behaviours you really need to display to be a top-line talent.
Pretty good grab there from Hooker as well. But the ball ended up in the middle, and Williams taken high or holding the ball, or, well, third time lucky, in the back. Williams quickly. That was an interesting handball to Treloar from Toby Green. Just the ball on the hand and the forward punch. But
the flick pass. That was when University were playing back in 1903, I think it was, hey?
That was interesting, wasn't it? And Palmer got it from Treloar. He goes back to Green, and now the kick on the lead is Adams, and that's well worked by GWS.
Who have you liked from the Giants, Nick?
Obviously, he's the one who just, his work rate's outstanding. You can see Hooker's actually done a good job, I guess, the last quarter and a half. So had a different look at it with him compared to what he had with Pears, but he's definitely someone you can just see he's going to be an absolute star. And I think Townsend obviously got a little bit tired, but he's done a really good job on Watson. Adams has kicked a goal this afternoon. He's tried really hard. That's an excellent kick off the boot, and through the middle it goes. GWS have got 10.
Be a good game for Taylor Adams so far. Just moved up to the 20 disposals, 8 of those contested. A couple of goals. He's done his job. Lad from Geelong. He's clearly, you can see him on screen, really well built, and has got a bright future in the game. And I mean, that is the challenge for the Giants going forward. They can string together a couple of really strong quarters, but as they start to get the pre-seasons under their belt, they'll be able to run these games out and be far more competitive as the games go on.
Strong boy, Adams. How many pre-seasons does it take for a young footballer to get to a point where they can compete and run out 4 quarters? I know everyone is different, but when they come in at 18, how far away are they?
Well, I guess the thing is, Haim, that your first couple, particularly now that they, we'll just see how this pans out, but we'll get back to that point.
When Goddard will go backwards to Zaharakis, his kick perfect to Davey.
You tend to, your first couple of pre-seasons tend to be a base, so you don't go helter-skelter like perhaps we used to 10, 15 years ago. So bank 2 of those, really build on that in your third, and probably by about the 4th, really, to be honest, is when you can really put some miles in your legs and you can carry that extra weight. So the Giants obviously coming into their third, still a while to go.
Well, the Giants have only got 6 players that are 21 or older. Davey, he's got another, and the Bombers are back out to over 5 goals.
You look at the comparison, I guess someone like, I know he's not obviously playing today, but Dyson Heppel's taken his game to another level. He was obviously a top 10 draft pick and was a pinch hitter and started to get a bit more of the ball late last year, but he's exploded this year and been one of the real prime movers. So that's probably a good benchmark, and a lot of these Giants players are first-round draft picks, so they could probably graph their performance against someone like a Dyson Heppel.
Bombers lead is 31 points. They've only met once before. That was round 9 last year. It was Essendon by 66 points on that occasion. So barring a last quarter catastrophe here, a mini win for GWS. They can Hit their losing margin under last year's. High ball by Williams. Over the shoulder, maybe Hibbard on Palmer. The umpire said keep going. Rolling under it, Treloar. He got to his knees, trying to work the footy out, but he didn't work it out. And umpire Bannister, right there, knew all about it. He signalled the wrong way, then the umpire, but didn't matter. Davey gets the footy from Jetta. He kicked the last. He'll go back for another here.
When we speak about Jetta, Davey's probably the man he's got to get past to actually get in that team. And if you look at their numbers, 7 tackles for Davey. That was the 3rd one for Jetta, but he's hit the scoreboard. He's kicked 2 goals, chance for a 3rd here, and Jetta's yet to kick one.
2 goals against Collingwood on Anzac Day. 9 goals, 5 this season. Make it double figures now. He's got his 10th for the year.
Good output from Alan Day. 4 goals, 1, 14 disposals. He has to play on edge. It's good to see. I mean, it is top versus bottom, and it's obviously panning out this way at the moment, but it's good to see some of those players who really need that strong performance put their hand up. He fits into that category. Jake Milcham's done okay. He got a reprieve this week. He's had 15 touches, 7 of those contested.
He's run with Ward, done a good job on Ward too.
Right on top now, the Bombers.
So Davies kicked the last couple. Brent Stanton, the story of the afternoon if you are a Bombers fan. As we heard Tim Watson and Doc Larkins earlier. Groin, we think. And that's all speculation. But Doc Larkins often so accurate, as Josh Bruce was right then. From just on 50, a nice finish from the lefty. And we're back under 5 goals again, which you think is a fair reflection of the afternoon. So good for that first half. A dominant 3rd term from the Bombers, and again they have owned the final term, but it would be disappointing if it was a 10-goal hiding to the Giants after leading by 21 points at half-time. We saw the Giants level the Cats at half-time last year and lost by 10 goals or so. So again, it's a matter of running the game out for the youngsters.
Just all about little wins for the Giants at the moment. Summed that up really well. Josh Bruce, Canberra grammar product, one of the local boys from their talent zone, and you look to those little wins for the Giants, and that's certainly one of them today.
Giles missed the footy through mid-air, then it was kicked forward by Merritt. That was pretty well done. Ward diving down. In fact, it was Townsend there. He didn't really get the footy across to a teammate. Howlett's high ball, and Gillum goes back and takes a good mark inside defensive 50. So Gillum does play on. Toby Green back in the back pocket. Not a lot to kick to. Devon Smith to target in the end. Little hand in the back, but no free. Gathered by Dempsey. Bagley was there. Missed Bagley and didn't quite get to Comer on the ball over the line to be thrown in. Less than 10 minutes to play now. Essendon's lead 31 points. I suppose it'll end up, Tom, pretty much as people expected at the start of the match, but it's been much more interesting than the current scoreline suggests.
And as we said earlier, it's about little wins for the Giants. They won a couple of quarters here and they looked really good, particularly in that first half. And I guess Kevin Sheedy and Leon Cameron and the coaching staff, they're looking for those sorts of things. Jacob Townsend did a good job on Joe Watson. Scully was good early. Jeremy Cameron was an absolute star.
Scully tried to keep it in there. He did keep it in for just a moment. Then Canelio takes it over.
In fairness to the Giants, I reckon it's a lot better than a lot of people thought it would be.
Well,
80, 90, 100 points was the discussions around the water cooler during the week. It's 30 points.
And that graphic down there, it scores from stoppages. So the Bombers are an absolute elite stoppage team. They've got Joe Watson as a Brownlow medalist in red-hot form again. And they've won that stat. They've scored from the stoppages. And that's been a really positive takeaway for the Giants.
Throw up there. A fair few players tangling. A couple of sets of them. In the end, the ball out to Bagley. Now Dempsey. Here they come again, the Bombers. Through the middle. He's had a couple of bounces. He's signalling he wants to go long. And then in the end, went out wide to Zaharakis. Orthodox Easter. Nothing orthodox about that. And a ball for Hibbard. Well, that was clever. He got a hand over towards his target, Dempsey, but Treloar chopped it off well. He got it back. That was clever. Townsend again using Smith. Through the middle of the ground now. They've done it nicely. Williams long kick inside 50. Over the footy, Adams and also Green. The bug rather on the ball is going to be thrown up.
Jeremy Cameron appealing for the free kick. Jordan Bannister, the umpire, saying didn't see it. Fair call.
Bill Chambers, perfect knockdown to Hooker, quick kick away. Tomlinson got a couple of Bombers to beat just on the ground. Tim Moore, good timing from Moore. Little give was good in the end from Scully, put Hampton under pressure. And now the Bombers swarm around the football again, but the
Let him go.
decision from Jordan Bannister in the back of Green. Now there are a chance here, the Giants. Scully over the top, ignored, and Moore thinking downtown to Cameron is the option. Again, Cameron, right spot, right time, and again Cameron outstretched.
Is this to break the record?
This is for 6. This is the record, the club record. He shares it with Satantro Halpin and Will Hoskin-Elliott. At the moment, this for the outright record for the man that was the leading goal scorer last year.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say who kicked this.
Well, he was a 17-year-old access selection. That turned out to be a very wise selection. He's now a 6-goal hauler on Saturday afternoon. The Bombers lead it by 25.
Now, Tommy and Max, you're both defenders. Essendon were moving forward with the ball. Now, as a defender, I guess you're moving up the ground with the play. But given that the turnover was, or the Giants gained possession of the ball across half-back, I mean, that's more than enough time for a defender to find his direct opponent, is it not?
It is, but what you expect is to have pressure on the ball carrier. So if you've got pressure on the ball carrier and he just can't walk through the forward more, walk through like he did before and just launch the ball long. Hooker's obviously caught underneath the ball, but that's where he wants to be. You want to be out there, so you've got to actually look after that dangerous space in front of your forward.
Jeremy Cameron, a few milestones along the way. He was the first player to kick 4, 5 and now 6 goals for the club, and it comes after Charlie Dixon kicked 6 for the Gold Coast last week. So the expansion club starting to create a little bit of history of their own in a goal-kicking sense.
And the thing that's so admirable about the performance of Cameron is that Foster's done okay as the other forward, but he's really done it by himself as the main key forward. He hasn't got much help.
Explanation there from the umpire of why no free kick. So thrown up again. About 7 minutes remaining. Oh, that was a gutsy effort by Hibberd. Green sent the ball high and Hibberd went back with courage and with the flight of the ball. Gumbleton up here, Pramery as well. They've got the numbers around this. The ball comes out to Hill. That was very well done. The handball by Merritt, and another goal for the Bombers.
Ball came in long and deep, and just teaching points for the young side. You've really got to kill the ball out of the area. We were talking about the defence down the other end and what potentially Kale Hooker could have done to Jeremy Cameron. But enough numbers there to really clear the ball. Essendon have certainly had the more dangerous players at the feet, with Davey to a lesser extent Jetta, but just learning all the time. David Hill has now, moved up to 13 disposals. He's kicked a goal. I think Giles has taken the chocolates in that contest, but a couple of despondent looking Giants players in the pine there. Here is Jonathan Giles.
Jonathan Giles, remarkable story of patience meeting opportunity. 4 years on the powers list. Not a game. New franchise, new opportunity. Great first year, 3-year extension. And 34 hit-outs this afternoon. Tomlinson to Moore. The one wide. Treloar.
Interference, free kick. Front on David.
Tom Harley has said he's going to be a very good player for a very long time. Wide ball to Palmer. And the former Rising Star winner finds his man Adams, who's kicked a couple this afternoon. A remarkable goal early doors along the ground from the pocket. And into the pocket it goes, but out of bounds on the full on this occasion. So the Giants have got tired. The Bombers, they'll end up with a win this afternoon, but there's been plenty of little wins along the way for the Giants.
Quick little kick from Hill. Marked by Pears, who plays on quickly. Goddard under it, gets it. Scully there, giving him a bit of attention. What about Brendan Goddard's game today?
Well, apart from when you put the Moz on early, Baz, he's bounced back and kicked the ball well. I think he's been a really good acquisition to Essendon. We saw how emotional he got when he played against St Kilda, but his game last week in particular against Collingwood, when the game was hot early, he was the player who had the temperament to settle the boys down, and he'd be enjoying his time in red and black, I reckon.
Looking ahead, Friday night football, depending on what happens tonight, might be extraordinary. The Cats and the Bombers, perhaps both 6-zip.
Certainly one of them to be unbeaten, and maybe both of them. Ball now across GWS's goal, and Dempsey's marked, and well, he just looked to go back there and then realised, OK, I've got Hibbert on, I'm going to go and see if we can get something happening. And Hibbert similarly just held up a touch, chips over the top for Hocking. Another chip kick, high ball, Melksham having to wait under it. A little bit of cramp.
Yeah, really tired, boys. Out there. There's no movement.
I think we can safely call this junk time now. Hibbert, it went back to Pears, to Hooker. The fantasy players will be loving this. Back to Hibbert again. So Myers moves it slowly to Jetta. This has been possession football personified by Essendon Hocking. They've been patient though here, which has been, I guess, pretty good from Essendon. They didn't blaze away when they could have a couple of times. Now Hill might send it long inside 50 this time. He does. He goes down towards Bell Chambers. There's a player down there for Essendon. They wouldn't like an injury late. Cramery's slow to get up, but eventually he does, and he looks to be okay.
Giles just getting beaten on that occasion, but Palmer ended up with it to Green. Hibbert just had to wait for the bounce, got a hand onto it and worked it inside. A couple of white jumpers around the place. Adams is one of them. Searches for Palmer, found his hands, couldn't take it cleanly.
Contact, front on. No, David made contact. Play on.
David made contact. Zaharakis, he was away from it quickly. The net result, the Giants win back possession, but they put it to a dangerous spot now. They've got the numbers back in defence. Adams to Moore, and Moore's been very good this afternoon. 23 touches now for Tim Moore, who came to this game relatively late. Was a Tasmanian defender recruited to the Scorpions, won the best and fairest there in 2011, has found a home at the Giants. Adam Treloar, who's been nicknamed Adam Trelambert, given the amount of time he spends with Craig Lambert.
Fantastic family for the Giants, the Lambert family. His wife Melissa and kids play that sort of pseudo-parent role for a lot of these young boys, gets them round for dinner and those sorts of things. So great support cast to the young fledgling club.
Cornelio to Cameron, who's got 6 this afternoon, won't be done with just yet. Plenty of time, and strong at the back was Hardingham.
Yeah, terrific fly, wasn't it? The defensive mark, he goes out wide. Here's Goddard. So just under 3 minutes remaining, and ultimately the Bombers will be happy with the 4 points. It'll be 6 in a row. Dempsey's got the footy, man on as well. Here's Hill. Now he looks upfield. Gumbleton breaking for him now. He comes more inboard. Good kick. Mark taken by Bell Chambers. Drifting through is Jetta. Jetta's kick to Davey in the pocket. And Davey can go back and kick for goal number 5.
And if you wanted to see, that was the perfect example of the fatigue setting in for the Giants. Davey got himself clear, broke away from all the Giants players. You can see 3 or 4 of the Giants players on their goal side of it, Alwyn Davey. And that's just a work rate thing. That's a maturity thing. And to finish off a very good day for him.
Not a bad day for the individual goal kickers. Cameron with 6, Cramery and Davey with 4 apiece. That to make it 5. He's missed it.
Crowd in this afternoon. Next Friday night it's going to be a full house, you would suggest. Cats, Bombers. I know the Cats supporters don't like travelling up the road too much, but
I think they like travelling up against when they play against the Bombers and their former coach. So that'll be a tough ticket to get to.
So Watson, who has emerged into one of the more remarkable players in the game right now. Gumbleton flew, couldn't quite bring the ball into his chest, and then Myers gets a chance, looked inside and decided that's where he's going, but Palmer is there for the Giants as we wind the clock down, and the 21-point lead at half-time has all disappeared, and the Bombers by just over 5 goals now.
Geez, he's been good here, bud.
Yeah.
He's had the 29 disposals. 10 contested possessions, but just the way he attacks the footy in the air, he's just been sensational.
Who would you give your votes to today if you had to just shout the 3-2-1?
Thanks for a little bit of notice.
We've got 1 minute and 13 seconds.
I'll definitely have Hibbert in there. I thought he's been really, really good. Cameron, I think, has to be. He's the one who really set them up.
Yep. But just think about the last one.
Get a bit more time, Nick. Cornelio, a couple of interesting handballs in this final turn. Balls come out the back, Melksham's way. He kicks long down towards full forward. He got it from Pears. It was fisted away hard. Davey looking for goal number 5 to Dempsey. To Watson, the skipper would love a goal. He gives it to Hocking. Offline.
That was trademark Watson then. Mayhem around him, just found the target, punched it through.
Probably give the third vote to a player who's played a defensive role. So whichever one you think is better, either Townsend on Watson or Melksham on Ward.
Who would you give it to, Tommy?
I really like Townsend's game on Watson. I mean, Jobe has worked his way into 21 possessions, 10 of those contested. Goddard's been good from the outset. Hard to look past Camry as well with 7 shots on goal.
Well, Toby Green playing it a bit cute, not giving the ball back. And as a result, 50 metres. And Bagley will get brought to within 20 metres or so, 45-degree angle.
And does a bit of his good work there, Hame. He's had 10 disposals in this final term. He's been pretty good, Toby Green. He's got off the tagging job a little. And Gillum also with 10 for GWS in this last quarter.
So Bagley ambles in and just puts another onto the growing tally of Essendon goals. We're up to 39 with just a few seconds remaining.
And to be spoken about those little things as you're starting to develop as a lift. And Toby Green was given a big job to play on Zaharakis, and Zaharakis had the 27 disposals. He's accumulated, hasn't necessarily been dominant. Toby Green starting to get a bit of the ball, but just to give away a 50-metre penalty like that, it just does take a bit of the gloss off your performance. And I'm sure that Kevin Sheedy and his coaches will address that with Toby after this game.
So final 15 seconds of the game coming up. It will be Essendon with win number 6 to remain undefeated and at the top of the ladder. Treloar, interesting kick that one, wasn't it? Ball went high. Devon Smith, he worked it loose in the end. Kicked forward by Hocking. Not quite the mark there. Tomlinson bursting out of defence. He kicks towards the boundary. The Bombers have got it. 6 in a row. They win by 39 points.